Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a recipe video on cranberry pie bars. So you can make this recipe into a single pie, one cranberry pie, or you can make 6 individual little pies like I'm making in this video, or you can pack this into a sheet pan and cut them up into bars if you guys want to use these for like a party setting or anything like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the video. And if you guys liked it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in our next video. Bye! Alright, you guys, you're going to start off with some cranberries. I already rinsed mine off, and I'm just going to double check them as I put them into my little sauce pot over here. Just check for any stems or bruised cranberries. You could do this right over the stove, but I have better lighting over here, so I wanted to do it where I could see really well. And at this point, I'm just going to add my sweetener. I'm using a stevia and a erythritol blend. And I'm using 4 teaspoons. I thought it could use a little more, so I would suggest using 2 tablespoons of sweetener. Go ahead and add 1 cup of water. I'm just using hot water to speed up the process. You can use cold. And then you're just going to bring these cranberries to a boil so they all pop open, and it will thicken up the cranberries as they all start to open up. And you just give it a few stirs, cook it on high for a minute, reduce the temperature down a little bit, and you want to reduce the cranberries until they're the texture of jam, I would say. If you want, you can take an immersion blender or a blender and process these down to make it smooth, or you can keep it chunky like I planned on doing. You can also add extracts, lemon or orange or zest would be great, but I chose to keep mine just simple and just cranberry. So I did add a little more sweetener, but you just leave this on the counter and work on your crust. You're going to take almond flour. Blanched almond flour would be better for texture, and you're going to do 2 1/4 cups, 1/2 a teaspoon of pink salt, and you're going to add your sweetener at this point. I thought it could use a little bit more. I did add 4 teaspoons into mine, but I would say 2 tablespoons again would be good for the crust. And just give that a mix, and you're going to add 3 tablespoons of softened butter and work that through. Use a bigger bowl than I did. You'll thank yourself. And then when that gets worked in a little bit, you can add your egg and then work the dough until it's completely incorporated and you have a even texture and consistency. It's not going to be crumbly, it's going to be slightly wet, and it should barely stick to your fingers. So I greased up my muffin top pan with plenty of butter, and what I'm doing here is just putting my bowl on the scale, zeroing it out, putting the dough back in, and it's 353 grams is what I ended up with. And then you're just going to divide that by 6, and that way you can have your crusts be as symmetrical as possible. It's great especially if you're tracking. So you're just going to form these into the little muffin top pan. You can also take a cookie sheet, line it with some foil, butter the foil, and then press this down into the bottom of the cookie sheet as well. And then you can just chill it down and then lift all of the foil out and peel the foil away, and that will work great if you're having a party and you can make bars that way. I also do it that way. But I wanted to make some cute little rustic looking pies, so I'm pinching the edges together with wet hands. And then you're going to pop this in a 350-degree oven for about 7 minutes, pull them out, poke any holes with a fork. And you could do this ahead of time, but they always seem to come back up, so I always like to take it out halfway through. And then once they're done, they'll be golden brown about 7 to 8 minutes later, and then you can pull them out and let them cool on the counter for a little bit. You could take a little scoop like I have just to make them even. You just scoop the cranberries into the little pie crust, smooth them over with a spatula, and once you can put them in the freezer for a little bit to make them cool down quickly, or in the refrigerator. They should pop right out. Mine did. It could just be the pan, I'm not really sure, but they turned out amazing. The crust is just delicious. You can serve them this way if you don't want to put whipped cream or powdered sweetener. They cut amazingly. The egg holds it together and keeps it firm, but it's still flaky and buttery, and they're so good. I highly recommend trying these, you guys. You can do like I did and powder up some sweetener, powder it on top, serve them quartered like this, and they'll be a hit for sure, for people that like cranberries at least. I also wanted to mention that you can freeze these and then wrap them in plastic and then store them in the freezer, and they'll hold up really well that way. Here are the macros for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends and family. It is possible to do keto on the holidays and you will not feel deprived. You will be happy and sassy, and yeah, so I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye. Whereas if you want to serve them up as little finger foods, who's totally honking right now?